going to start with the educational session. Before that, let me introduce today's guest who will be taking and conducting the educational session. I'm really pleased and privileged to introduce the chief guest of the day, distinguished Toastmaster Divyashree Gatti. She is from the Rome of the East, that is Mangalore. So nice place. And she has treated her professional life as experimental laboratory and worked in various sectors such as recruitment, education, IT, consumer goods industry, KPO, which have exponentially increased the adaptability and management skills of our speaker. And also in the past, she has taken various leadership roles such as district club mentor chair, leadership development program coordinator, conference program chair, area director, youth leadership program coordinator, and has achieved the Distinguished Toastmaster Award. With a huge round of applause, may I invite Distinguished Toastmaster Divyashree Gatti for the session, Talk to Talk. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Toastmaster Suja. I don't think so. I'm so privileged. I mean, you need to call me as ma'am. I'm privileged to be here in front of veterans. And it's my pleasure to always come to Kerala. Physically or virtually, it's always a pleasure. The person who is timing the timer for the day, please give me at 20, 25, 30. I should be done with my top, whatever my presentation is, 20 minutes. After that, I have something planned for you. So that's how the timing would be. So when I talk, even before I start the session, let me just give you a disclaimer. I'm not here to talk about table talks. I was told extempore. Let me stick to that. The reason being that table topics are meant for only Toastmasters, but extempore is meant for life. My motto in Toastmasters is I'm not here to be the best Toastmaster. I'm trying to be the best person I can be with the help of Toastmasters. If you want to ace life, that's why Toastmasters is there for you. But not to ace Toastmasters because there's too much of competition. But you can ace life for sure with the help of Toastmasters. And I'm sure whoever has been around is around because of that reason. Somewhere or somehow, Toastmasters has helped us. So when it comes to our lives, I think there are three things we do it day in and day out. One is, I think from birth, we've been doing it. One is eat, one is sleep, and third is talk. Now, with age, the eating and sleeping varies, okay? Because maybe as kids, we slept a lot of time. Now it's come down to 6 to 5 hours. And then the eating also, thanks to our doctors, I hope there aren't any over here, telling us to eat right or eat wrong, or what you are eating wrong. But there's one thing that has always been constant or been pushed to do better, that is talking. Somewhere this is one area that we are either pushed or excited to do. And that may be the reason we are here in Toastmasters, is about talking. And we get a lot of opportunities to talk. When I say talk, it need not be a stage. It need not be 1,000 people audience. It can be that one person with whom you talk and create that impact. And every time we don't have a preparation of 1 week to prepare that talk. And that is why we need to talk the talk with the other person listens. So over here, my humble effort is to make sure that how do we go about things and how can we do it? I'm still learning. Toastmasters helped me a lot. Whatever I could understand by the whole purview of talking and how can we refine it, I would put it in my own words so that it might be a little helpful for you. So when we talk about the whole aspect of talking, we've been always taught, I remember the speech of one of the Toastmasters in Kerala, and he once told that, think about out of the box. I think we have all heard this. I'm not sure if people have been around. It was during, I think, the semi-annual conference. I'm still waiting for people to guess his name. So if anybody is aware of this Toastmasters, please let me know. He's a quite common Toastmaster who comes to he always takes part in district conferences. I've heard him speak quite a few times. I think Safi sir is nodding his head. Did you guess the name, sir?
one name that comes to mind is Matthew, but because I was not there for this particular event that you are mentioning. Matthew Jacob is one name that comes to mind. Is it
not
Matthew?
really Matthew Jacob? I will tell you the name at the end. I'll surely tell you the name at the end.
Okay.
So this Toastmaster had given a speech. I was not around to. I've seen it in YouTube. This is only a fan following, and I had the opportunity of meeting him. So with this, he gave a speech called "Think Out of the Box," and extempore is actually bringing things to the box. If you're going to give a prepared speech, is think out of the box for the topic. But when it comes to extempore, is how do you bring those thoughts which come out of your box, the box over here, and put it into a box and compress it in such a way that we can understand as an audience, or the person listening to you as an audience can relate to it. So my first thing about anything with extempore speech would be one thing, is the box. I would like to talk about the box presently. Now, when I ask you about talk about the box, can somebody tell me, can you define this box to me? Can you define this box when it comes to our thoughts? Would be in various elements. It can be experiences, it can be your quotes, it can be your fears, it can be some instance in your life. How do I construct it and put it into, tangle it in such a way that it is boxed in such a way that it looks well presented? And that's all going to be the whole gist of the session. How do I box my thoughts so that it looks structured? So whatever your box is, if it is a suitcase, if it's a 1 minute, when I say suitcase, I talk about long speeches, your talks for around 7 to 8 minutes, or your presentations. If you are talking about a small gift box, it would be your small pep talks with your team members. How do I box it so that whatever I put in is structured enough inside it that it does not go flying like my hair right now? So how do I box it is what I would be talking about. So when we talk about the basics of the extempore topic, what is that we require? What is that we require is something which we can talk about. This is a question to you, to all of you. What is that you would talk if you were given an extempore topic? What are your areas of interest, or what are your areas of support? Now, let me ask one of you, and I feel that this crowd is interactive because everybody started talking at the very go. So let me ask the Sergeant at Arms who started off the day. What is one topic you can always bank on? You will never fail in that topic.
Well,
anything is there, you can connect to that.
Okay, so table topic is something which I like very much. So one thing is like, my experiences. If someone asked me, my experiences with something, regarding my family, or, my good memories, happy memories, something related to that, I'm very comfortable in speaking for such topics. But regardless, if I get any topics, no matter how I'm uncomfortable with, I try to, make a creative way out of it to deliver it to the audience. So that's my take on that.
So you're just drawing in my next point. That is you. Okay. Every speech has that you factor. And if you do not have that you factor in the speech, there's no difference between Rajat, Deepa, and Sri Kumar sir, Suja. What is that you that you're going to draw into your speech? If there's no you factor, you will sound monotonous. You will sound like every other person, because somewhere deep down inside, we all have 24 hours. We do our work. Your work might be of a CA, of a doctor, or an actor, but it is work for you. So our life is constructed in such a way. But what is that you in that? Is that makes the speech unique? What is that? If it is your strength of your personal experience, be it that. If it's your professional, be it that. If it is something to deal with the whole aspect of your likings. Your likings, when I say your hobbies, be it your cooking styles, be it your comedy factor. What is that you factor that you have in that speech? What is that element that you give it to that speech? Is what is important in any factor, when any aspect of public speaking or of that extempore speech. So you would have, most of us have a bosses. Most of us have bosses, but very few of us listen to them, right? Most of us have bosses, but very few listen to them. But there'll be that one person among all the bosses you had that you would listen to. Why? It would be a factor wherein they put it the way you would like to listen, or the factor wherein they would present it in such a way that would create an impact. That is their you factor. So for you, how would you describe this? How do you want, how are you going to derive this you factor is one more thing we will discuss through the sessions, through this another 15 minutes that we talk about. And by doing that, while doing all of that, what is that you discover is something different. What is that you discover is something very different. So let me start with the basics. The session says basics for Division K. Let me start with the whole basics of how do we go with the whole aspect of table topics, if you want to call it, extempore, or if you want to call it life, I leave it to you. Okay, what you want to call it, I leave it to you. So my first take about it is this. I love stories. I could live on stories. I tell a lot of stories. The best thing I cook in life are stories. That's what my friends tell me, that I cook very good stories. Second is analogies. Analogies are derivatives, what we have, what we analyze things. And third would be personalization. These are the things, strong pillars that we form when it comes to your extempore speech. Now, if you look at it, there's no major difference between a prepared speech and an extempore speech, except the time for preparation. For a prepared speech, you have that time. When it comes to extempore, you have an idea what you're going to talk on. You'll have an idea about what you're going to talk about. And when it comes to table topics, you have no freaking idea what you're going to talk about, because the topic can be anything. So I give you the choice between what are you going to prepare for. If you are a prepared speaker, you have the time to write. But if you are an extempore speaker, it's nothing but you have some idea about what you talk. And that basic example for me as an individual, my area of preparation, you might find it the very silliest thing, but this is where it helped me prepare my extempore in Toastmasters. It is not table topics, because I used to fret table topics at the beginning of my journey in Toastmasters in 2015, because there were a lot of veterans around. So I was a VP head of my club within 3 months of me joining Toastmasters. And we have a ritual in Toastmasters of having this something called an installation. I'm sure you're aware of all of it. And in that, the president, in Mangalore, we have the community, in our community, every time a club installation happens, it's your duty as a president and VP head to attend it by default. And the president, every club president has to go on the stage and talk. If the president is not there, who's supposed to talk? The VP head. And it so happened my president back then was almost like a decade younger than me, and he was a doctor. He was studying his medicine. So always I had the opportunity to go and talk. Now, what do you tell? They tell you speak in 1 minute. In 1 minute, go and after the division directors, after the AD speak, and another 5 presidents speak, you don't have much to say if you want to create an impact for yourself. That was my first phase where I started my extempore, not a table topics, mind you, because I knew I had to go and congratulate them, but I never wanted to sound boring to them. So that was my first learning tool in Toastmasters when it comes to extempore. What is extempore? It's about creating that impact in that given time and giving that impact in such a way that people will come back and talk to you. Because nobody in Toastmasters knew me back then. I was just 2 months into Toastmasters, and these installations were the first meetings I ever attended. That's my story of learning extempore speeches. That is my first experience of extempore speeches. So what helped? Stories of what I heard in my past, analogies, what I heard the previous speaker speak, and my take to it. And third is personalization. Now, when we talk about stories, and I think we've heard it every place, bring your personal instance when it comes to speeches. We talk about personal instance, right? But does that need Does anyone tell you that you have to be the hero of the story? Nobody told you that. It has to be a personal story. Why can't you guys be a good listener? Listen to a story as a viewer and narrate it. I'm sure, I'm not sure how many of our lives are so interesting that we have an incident every single week and then we come to Toastmasters next week and I'm going to take up the table topics and speak. Does not happen. But what makes an extempore speaker better if he's able to communicate that well? So what is required is just your listening skills and your ability to understand what the other person is saying in their mundane lives. So I have such a story for you, which you would have seen in your campuses. And let's see what we derive out of it. So I have a video to share with everyone. Just give me a minute to share a video. It's something you would all relate to. Wait till the end and tell me what is that you get out of it. I'm doing a video check. Is this clear? Let me know that. Is the video clear? Are we clear on the video?
No sound though.
Sound, is it? Let me just check on it. If not, I'll share the link. I think I'll share the link on the chat window. Is that okay? If I can share it, if there's a problem with it, I'll share it. If one of you can, let me know whom do I share it with.
Send it to me, Divya.
I'll do it right away. Yes. I also get the opportunity of watching the video like an audience. Thank you.
It's not that easy.
Order. Come now. Come.
You can have to.
Come on. No, order a pizza.
See that.
Give me one chef's veg wonder and read it. Oh my God, are you dragging? Have them.
To the colleague who always carries a little extra dabba. Happy Valentine's Day. Let's celebrate the love that finds us every day.
Thank you, sir. Firstly, let me give a disclaimer. I don't work for this company, nor am I endorsing any of these brands. It's just I found a video which I think all of us have done in our life sometime, be it in school, be it in college. We've shared our dabbas. We've shared the food pre-COVID, let me put it that way. We've all shared our dabbas. It's nothing new that we have not heard of. It's not something which we have not done in the past. But what is that you remember out of this? I leave it to you all to give me your viewpoints here. What is that your takeaway from this video? Open to all of you to unmute and speak. Sharing is caring. Fantastic. Thank you, Raji. Yeah, the mouth was very watering, but I'm a foodie, so I can watch videos and I can even put on weight watching food. So I'm somebody of that category. So who else has to say something about this video? What is your take?
Sharing with others what we have.
Sharing what you have, giving it back, giving back. Absolutely. Thank you, Amita. Share the poverty. Oh, interesting. I didn't find anybody poor there, but yeah, somebody who does not have food is definitely poor. The you factor was so evident, right? You saw that lady was actually the real hero of this whole instance. The story was not even based on her. The story wouldn't have happened if that lady had not observed. It's all about that lady observing, and actually the narrative changed. The story was of a girl who brings dibba and eats every day. The whole narrative changed because somebody added a new spice to it, of a new person being there. Happiness. It created a happiness. So think about all those examples which we have already enjoyed, but we have not thought it was worth sharing. This carrot line would have given millions to this ad. Create this whole ad. Maybe at least a few lakhs, not millions, few lakhs. It's a story which all of us can relate, have gone through it. So what is it that makes it different? It's the narrative. That's the you. What is that touch you're giving to that story? What is that drive-away message that you're having from this story? You change the narrative. The impact changes. You need not be the hero of the story or the heroine of the story. It's about how you're going to present the narrative for the story. And what is the takeaway message that you have is very different from everybody else. Extroverts adopt from introverts. That's how introverts get friends. See, the whole narrative, I can put this narrative and the key takeaways in various directions. The story is the same. All of us saw the same story, but how we understood it and how we narrated it is different. And that's the whole thing about extempore. How we are going to put it across, how we are going to use the analogies, how we are going to do the story. If you look at a prepared speech, it's about having an opening, body, and conclusion. OBC. Okay, it's not the other OBC that we talk about, but it is OBC. When you say OBC, opening, body, conclusion, even an extempore speech needs that. But instead of a 5 to 7 minutes, you have 2 to 3 minutes. If it's a presentation like this, it's an opening, body, and a conclusion into 30 minutes. It's still an extempore. Now, it's an open secret that once you start making presentations, you're not going to mug up every word. You're going to prepare for it. And you're going to have the pointers in your head and play it like an extempore. And this is exactly how I do my presentations at office. I treat it like an extempore. I have an opening, I have a body in my PPT, and I have my conclusion in my mind. And what is there in the body? It's the content. That's the driving force. It's like movies. I'm sure my father is a big Malayalam fan. Okay? I think he watches more Malayalam television, and if he spoke to you, you'll never realize he's not a Malayalam. That good is his Malayalam. So we have a lot of Malayalam movies. So the way the heroes enter are quite different from other movies. Very subtle entries, most of the heroes, not nowadays, I'm talking about the little older phase, they have subtle entries and all of that. But what keeps us going is the content. What keeps us going is the content and how you bring in depth to that even a person in a mundu and a t-shirt can create an impact. Why is that? That's because the content drives you. So what is that you have to offer? One such element would be one factor, that would be the surprise element. How are you going to surprise your audience? How is your story going to be different from the others? When I say story, I mean it's not just a story. It's about your presentation as a whole. What is that surprise element that you have in that speech which is different from the other person? The narratives is one thing, but what is a surprise element? Is it a message? Is it your viewpoint? Or is it a realization which others would have not got in the first place? One of my mentors always tells me when it comes to extempore, when you get a topic, you'll get a first thought. Don't go with it. Why? 99% of the people will go with that thought. They will tell you exactly that. And you're like, that's exactly what I thought. Wait for that second thought. Wait for that second thought. Because second thought will be something which people would have not thought at that moment. Your first thought is, we are also ordinary. To give that extraordinary impact, wait for that second thought, which will create the difference, because you would have given that extra 10 seconds to give your existing thought to take it further. So that is a tip which I follow also, that when you get an idea, I don't stick to it. I told, don't be satisfied with what you have said. You should overachieve. Exactly that. When you get a thought, when you are able to get a topic, what is that first thing comes to your mind? Move ahead and see what is your second thought. It gives you an idea which is not same as the others. And that is how you're creating the surprise element for everybody around. Because they're like, oh my God, I never thought about this. That is because they didn't give that second thought. They did not give that second thought which you gave to give in that surprise element of the topic. If I can ask the timer how much of time I have left so that I can work around it. I didn't start the time. If you could tell me that.
Madam, 4 more minutes.
Come again?
4 minutes.
Thank you so much. So how do we do this? That is where the surprise element of the last element comes in. But I can give you some tips by which you can ace it. And that's only by 3 things. Preparation, extempore, table topics, any of this. It's a myth that you don't need to prepare. Any champion table topic speaker or an extempore speaker will tell you that they are here because of preparation. Preparation can be of 1 day, 1 month, 1 year. The impact is directly proportional to it. If you're prepared well, it will come handy someday for some time. If you practice your speeches, it need not be practice every single thing, but if you practice that thought, you will get not laughters today, maybe tomorrow. But it's how you practice those speeches, that ideas. And third comes passion. So people, most including me, I'm somebody who says, I don't like to speak on the spot. But I've realized that I'm exactly opposite to that. I love to speak on the spot. And I think that is where it helped me in my MC. I don't go by the script. I prepare it on that spot, listening to the other person. And that's why if you can add your passion to what you're doing, your speeches get better. If you can somehow connect it to your passion, it can be a passion to talk, or passion to be better, or passion towards any aspect or skill that you want to grow. If you can associate with that, your speeches will get better. So when you have passion, preparation, and practice will always come into the picture. And with that, I leave us to the last segment. What I want to talk is let's talk. When we are here to talk, let's talk right now to see what we can do out of stories and how can we make our experiences go better. So I have a subtle, and this is one of my favorite videos, which I use it in my previous sessions also. But it's something which I want to present it in a different way. So I have this for you, sir. Present it. It's a story with actually a different take. You would recognize a hero in this, but you would recognize who this story is also. I've sent it to you, Safis.
Excuse me?
Yes?
Do you know where the ice is?
The ice?
Yeah, I need some ice. I'm having this little party and my ice maker just broke down.
Why would I know where the ice is?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought...
You thought I worked here?
No, I mean, yes, but actually I just thought...
You thought, here's an Indian guy, convenience store, works here.
No, not at all. It just seemed...
Seemed?
Seemed like...
Seemed.
Seemed like...
Like This is the Quickie Mart and I'm Apu?
No, 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 not at all.
Why is it every time a brown man walks into a convenience store, some Yoga Lattes taking Stepford wife thinks he works here?
Hey.
How do you know that I didn't just come home from a long day of work and just wanted some bugle?
Well, I said I was sorry.
Lady, why don't you take your sorry token apology and go back to your Midwest suburb where you came from?
You don't know me.
You're right. I don't. It just seemed. Thank you. Come again. People these days. Hey man, you know where the Funyuns are?
Oh, I don't work here, but I think I saw them in aisle 4.
Look, about to eat your fucking head off, you don't get off. Son, you know I'm about to set off, you don't let off. Pants out, let the lead off, get the bread up. I don't care, you gotta let us, son, I'm fed up.
Thank you so much for helping me out here with the videos. Oh, I switched off my video by mistake. So this is a quirky take on things. I mean, a lot of people talk about humor in their stories. And humor can be of different types, definitely grabs attention. But if you see humor, a lot of times it can be on others' expense also. So this is a question which I always have. How do I make it interesting? So this is one take, but to make it interesting, it need not be humorous. It can be emotional. It can be thought-provoking. It can be some setup that you are creating. It can be your voice. It can be anything. This video has all of it. But what is that which works for you to create that impact? Like if you want somebody I'm very animated. I use my gestures and my face a lot to create an impact. So what is that you want to create? Is it your intensity? Is it pulling somebody's leg who is comfortable about it? Is it sharing a story which you have heard in a humorous way? Is it something where you can roast somebody at that moment? Is it some instance which others can relate to? So what is that you have is something different. This video is my favorite for different reasons because it has every element that you can use, but try to enhance only one. In a video, you can use multiple factors, but when it comes to a speech, try to do it giving justice to everything. In that small little time, a video can do justice, but not maybe our speeches. It's like a caution note. We can't do it all, but what you do it right. So here I have my activity for you all guys. I have a video. I love videos because it makes it interesting. It's a normal video which we all have gone through in the last 1.5 years. No point of guessing. It's a lockdown video. It does not have dialogues. Okay. It does not have dialogues. Now that is what you are going to do for me. Have we still got time? Or are we time's up?
Time is up, ma'am. Still, please continue.
Time's up. So I have this video for you as a thought-provoking. It's a 1-minute video set. This is my thing to you. Can you imagine the video with the lines that you will have given to it in case you were making this video? It's a competition video which won accolades. If you can give dialogues to it, then whatever we discussed right now, making sense to whatever we will do in the future. Yeah. You have to visualize the dialogues of this. And that's it. It's all in the narrative. It's all that you have gone through. But how are you going to depict it is what is left to you. Our stories are similar. Might be a little interesting than the other person. But it's all in the narrative that will take you to a different level. With that, I hand it over to the Toastmaster of the day. In case you have some questions, feel free to write in the chat window because I don't want to take your time. If there's any questions, I'll answer it there. If we have time, I'll be happy to take the questions right away. I'll leave it to the Toastmaster of the day.
Dear friends, any questions?
While we wait for a couple of minutes for the questions, may I request everyone to turn on their videos, please? Our president is also requesting for a group photo to be taken with our special guest. You may please go ahead and ask a couple of questions, maybe. Just taking a photograph.
I'm glad to see Balachandra sir here. Hello, sir. How are you? I hope you recognize me.
How do you know? Oh, of course, yes. You know, the moment I saw that, you are coming, I made it a point to come. Even otherwise, I do come to Heritage, but today it so happened I was really unable to come, but I made it a point to come.
Okay.
My pleasure to always come here, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Smile. Okay, done. One more. One, 2, 3. Go. Okay, done. So now, Toastmaster of the day, the screen is yours. You may please ask the questions or move on with the program, please. Deep sir, Suja ma'am was supposed to do a vote of thanks, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
If there are no more questions, I'll do it.
Toastmaster Divyashree, I just wanted to ask you, you had mentioned a sequence like practice, perform, and preparation.
Not very audible, sir. Slightly feeble. Yeah. The voice is breaking.
What about now? Is it better?
Very clear, sir. Very clear. Yeah. Yes.
See, you had given a sequence like it starts from preparation to practice to passion, right? It doesn't. Shouldn't it start with the passion first, so that the practice and the preparation becomes better?
Sir, I leave it to you, sir. There's no sequence there.
Okay.
There's no sequence.
Okay, fine.
So it can be anything that if it's bottom line for me it was like the Ulta pyramid. My passion drives my preparation and the other aspect.
Yeah,
so if there's passion, other things will come in. Absolutely. It is not sequence as such.
Okay.
For me, my driving element was a passion. Also, sometimes when you talk about passion, what are you driving towards also is matters. If you want to talk about, if you want something, if you're preparing for a contest and that's your passion, then you prepare according to it also. So your practice and your preparation will base on your passion for sure. For what is left to you.
Thank you.
Hi, ma'am. Is it okay if I ask a doubt?
Please go ahead.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, carry on. As long as you don't address me as ma'am, I'm okay.
Okay. See, I'm someone who hates table topics because I get really nervous. So how do we get our thoughts into line when the topic comes in, when we're restricted, when we're not allowed to think as much as we can? So how do we handle that?
How often do you talk to your friends?
As of now, not much. Because of exams.
You talk, right?
Yeah.
How do you construct your thoughts at that moment of time? Because you're comfortable with them. Basic line is you're comfortable with them.
Everybody is very experienced, especially in Heritage. I get really nervous when I talk here.
That's the factor you're going to work on, nothing else. You talk to your friends because you're comfortable with them. You feel there are people who are experienced. Same way, same thing over here. Over in Mangalore, 7 years is nothing. We're talking about Toastmasters who are like, I have the youngest member in my club is 81 years old. Okay. And 81, correct. And he became a distinguished Toastmaster this year. So I'm talking about that experience that we're talking about. As long as you're not comfortable with yourself, you will not get comfortable with your audience. They're all here to learn here. First thing is that if they're still paying those 4,500, they are also learning something out of it. Who said the young girl cannot teach them something? I'm talking in behalf of every Toastmaster who's experienced here. They will get a fresh, they're like, oh my God, something cool. So they are learning from you as much as you are learning from them. Maybe different things. They might learn how to eat sushis and other things or something new. But yes, they are here to learn. And that's why get comfortable. You'll be able to speak because we all know to speak. Now, how do you structure your thoughts? Is to believe that you have one message to give in all of that you're going to say. As long as you don't blabber. And if you're clear about where you're going to start and where you're going to end, you're going to take this thought forward. It should not be a problem. Okay, so don't try to put in too many things. It's not a buffet. It's that one meal you're going to survive on. So take what you want. Don't take everything.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sorry, due to shortage of time, we cannot proceed with the question answer now. If
absolutely, sir.
You can directly contact Divyashree. We can give you her contact. Please proceed, DTM Sujas, madam. Please proceed.
Sure. If you have any questions, please write it on the chat.
You can put in the chat box if you want.
Yes. Gratitude is the memory of the heart. Beloved Chief Guest, Toastmaster, District Toastmaster, Divyashree Gatti, district leaders, division leaders, area leaders, club leaders, members of all clubs, and the guests from far and wide. Today, we had the opportunity to hear the innovative thoughts and ideas on the session, Talk the Talk, the techniques and tools to enhance our impromptu speaking skills and stand and think tall with the U factor within us. On behalf of Division K, I express a heart full of gratitude to our chief guest, distinguished Toastmaster Divyashree Gatti, who spent her valuable time sharing her views and hone our speaking skills. Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster. And also, we are immensely grateful for the presence of all other dignitaries and members from the Toastmasters family and all other guests from far and wide, students from Jeddah, DPS Public School, and students from HCC College for your esteemed presence. That means a lot to us all. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Back to you, Toastmaster Deep Sur.
Excuse me, may I request our division director say just 1 minute or 2 minutes, just want to hear something from you. Just 1 minute, shortage of time, I know.
Thank you, Srikumar Pai sir, for putting me on the spot. I actually did not want to speak after that wonderful session from Divyashree. You know, one of the most important lessons that I take from this particular session, Divyashree, today is that I am not here to become the best Toastmaster. I am here to become the best person that I can be with the help of Toastmasters. I think that's a wonderful message that each one of us can take to heart and live by it. We are in Toastmasters to become a better human being, better person, better individual, so that we can benefit ourselves, benefit our home, our family, and benefit the society at large. And that's the whole purpose of Toastmasters. Yes, learning leadership, learning public speaking is the activities that we do to reach that particular goal. And all the meetings that we attend. In fact, I was just thinking today that in all the 8 sessions that we have had so far as part of the month of basics, I am privileged to have had all the 3 area directors attending each one of those sessions. And that made me really happy, you know. So it is not an individual game that we are playing here. It is all of us together trying to help the community and trying to help ourselves. So we are in it together. And I wish you all the best. And I wish to thank Divyashree for giving that wonderful session on impromptu speeches today. Thank you. And back to the Toastmaster of the day.